If you don't have a selling system, you're going to be the victim of someone's buying system. Just have a think about that for the moment. You're renovating your bathroom and you have a buying system. And usually that buying system looks like, I know my kind of design, or I want help with my kind of design, and I'm going to get 3 quotes. That's your buying system. And so people come in and they give you a quote, and if they don't have a selling system to make their offering stand out, then you're going to be the victim of the buying system. And so we know that from a personal point of view, but if you think about your own business leadership or your own business, do you actually have a selling system? We're going to be talking a lot today about sales and marketing. Sales is about people in the buy now stage, and marketing is about people in the buy later stage. So I hope this has got you excited. You're going to leave here with some pretty fun stuff. My name's Peter Lowe. I'm the founder of 100X Legacy, where we work with faith-based business leaders to be great and do good. We've got numerous free resources such as Business Connect here. And we also, if you go online, there's a workbook that attaches to this. We've got some assessment tools individually for you. Go to the ws.100x.ly. Well, my guest today is someone that I consider a dear friend. He's one of the few people that I allow to speak into my life. His name is Matt Purcell. He's the founder of Q Media, Social Kung Fu, and Business Academy, just to mention a few. Matt, I would say, is the prominent voice within Asia Pacific when it comes to personal branding and marketing. He's just won a significant award in terms of being the best marketing agency. His business were just involved in the filming with Gwyneth Paltrow recently and the Kyle and Jackie O crew. Business partners with Janine Ellis, who was the founder of Boost Juice. He's done work with people like Mark Boris, John Howard, the ex-Prime Minister, Guy Sebastian, Sonny Bill Williams, also many corporate brands such as Xero, the Qantas Wallabies, MJ Bale, and American Express. The list goes on. Probably his favourite customer, though, is us, 100X. And so this is the type of thing we partner with Matt in terms of getting our message there. And he is truly someone that you are going to find is going to leave you with something practical today. So Matt, welcome to Business Connect. So good to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Thanks, brother.
It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to share one story quickly. With the first time I met Matt was just at a group of guys sitting around a fire. And you do the inevitable, who are you and what do you do? And Matt literally just said, I believe I'm on the planet to whisper in the ears of kings and queens. And he is that voice to me. Not saying that I'm a king. I call myself the hot Asian. But he's certainly that voice I allow to speak into my ears. So, Matt, when it comes to sales, marketing, systems, and a bunch of things, I know you've got a bunch of stories as well, but what's your thoughts around either a story that you can share or a principle around when it comes to branding, sales, and marketing?
One of the things that gets a really bad rap at the moment is word of mouth. It's like, oh, you ask a business, oh, how's your marketing strategy? Or what's your plans? Like, I just have word of mouth. And a lot of people go, oh, is that all? But when they say word of mouth, it's just, what they mean is, what I find is it's not an intentional system. There's not like a real plan to go, okay, what they mean by that is some people talk about it by chance.
Yes.
And I believe that bad word of mouth is easy because people in Australia, especially at the airport, have you been in the airport when has anyone ever had you know where I'm going with this, a flight cancelled? You'll see human anger and bad word of mouth just skyrocket. People on the phone talking to people, oh, this airline, the last time I'm going to use this one, or they're online sharing to all their friends. That's easy. But good word of mouth is actually needs a trigger, needs a nudge, because how many of us have a product or car or use a supplier that have been with them for many years and not reviewed, not left a review? No one wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, my TV is fantastic. It's been going good for me for 10 years. Today is the day I leave a review for them. It's not like that. So I want to give a couple of examples and a nudge today that we need to be able to focus on like being shareable and having a system for if we give gifts, if we create a strategy around this, there's a plan to be able to get into the sales position. So there's an American example and two Australian examples. An American example is Las Vegas. There's a casino called the Wynn Hotel. And when the Wynn Hotel first started, they were in competition with everyone on the strip. So they had a bit of a marketing budget, and they're like, we could go digital, we could go PR, all the stuff. But they decided to do this really clever strategy where they're like, okay, we're going to get all the taxi drivers in for a free stay. We're just going to let every taxi driver stay here for a week. And for the next 5 years, every single taxi driver would just voluntarily, without being paid, would pick up someone from the airport and be like, you know what, you need to go to the Wynn Hotel. It's the best entertainment, best food, best accommodation, because for that particular area, tourists are always asking the taxi driver, who can't stop, that just keeps talking and talking.
Yeah.
But taxi driver is not necessarily the client of the Wynn Hotel. I call them talkers. So there's talkers that talk directly to your customer, except, that aren't necessarily just going direct to customer. An Australian version is Boost Juice, where we talked about our friend Janine Ellis, the name game. So today is they'll send an SMS out on their database. This is why a database is important, by the way. Today, if your name is Peter, you get a free boost at the value of $12. The data says that whenever they send out a text about Peters, 20 people will message a Peter. 20 people. So then that's again talkers. So talkers again, not necessarily going to buy, but like Peter then is going to rock up with pride, go up to the Boost store and be like, my name's Peter today. And it's fun branding, but it also creates demand for the business. And they have to register their name to be able to get it to. So there is a system there from not just giving away something and just taking it as a hit, as a cost, but they're getting in exchange a new customer to experience your service, and also data to be able to continue talking and nurturing, just humanize the process. When I say things like data, when I hear things like the algorithm, I just think of a person. The algorithm is stuffing up my post on social media. No. People, the algorithm is people too. People just don't like your post. And it's just the real truth of it. And the last example is Youth Alive New South Wales. I just did a strategy for the youth on how do I market to be able to get non-Christians to our event. And they were like, Matt, we've got a small budget. We're thinking about going digital marketing. I'm a digital guy, so I'm all about social media. I'm all about that stuff. And I looked at what they were trying to do. I said, you should not do digital marketing because one, it's the parent that's funding it and going to approve the kid to go. And they don't know Youth Alive and they don't know what this event's about. So what we're going to do is this. It's going to be a 2-for-1 deal. It's going to be a word of mouth strategy where we buy a ticket for your kid, the kid that's at your youth group. So you got 20 kids at youth. Every kid gets a ticket purchased for their friend. So the church will raise the money. There's 20 free tickets for their friend to be able to go to their friend and say, here's your ticket. I've bought it for you. You're coming with me. And that's more powerful than a Facebook ad coming up to a stranger, doesn't know really what the brand is. There's no brand strength in that. And equipping the person, the kid, to be able to invite their friend personally. And then they have to put their data in, their information in, and there's follow-up, and there should be nurturing and information. All those questions that are in the head should be answered.
I love that. You were also sharing a story. There were 3 bangers just then, okay? So we kind of got the Wynn Hotel, the talkers, etc. We've got the name around the Boost Juice and things. There was another story we shared, you shared with me about Boost Juice and something that Janine and her team crafted around franchising and what brought that in. Can you share that story?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't have a problem spending $5,000, $10,000 on ads. That's not a problem, right? It's fine because when you can't generate attention through word of mouth, you've got to pay for it. You know, you've got to buy attention. And one of the things people don't realize doing is like they're willing to spend $10,000 on that, but not willing to use $5,000 of stock to give away to be able to generate attention. So Boost Juice did this thing once where they thought, okay, we're going to do a PR strategy. We're going to give away a franchise. A franchise. It's like giving away McDonald's. A franchise was worth about $200,000. And they had a spin and angle. So listen, if you said to me, Matt, get me in front of media, I'm like, okay, great. What's the angle? You've got to have an angle. You've got to have something to talk about. And this is, I'm giving away $200,000, and what that $200,000 was a seed. And that seed was thrown out, and all the water was the attention, and that actually turned into $2 million of sales for them. So generosity wins. I think it's a biblical principle too. Like you reap what you sow, and a lot of people aren't being generous because they're thinking, oh, I'm giving away stock, I'm giving away a service. For my agency, we won a massive national award for doing pro bono campaign for somebody. That's something that's very close to my heart. It was helping a teenager who got dropped on his head and was made a quadriplegic, and he had a desire to tell his story. So our agency, my business, worked within Crafty's story. He's now a Saxons Bureau speaker. He's a professional speaker. He went viral on TikTok, and we won an award for that. And it wasn't the intention to win an award. The intention was to do a good thing, but also it paid back in us because our generosity reaped a harvest with all the good work we're doing because people saw it was good news to share. And that's a really important principle. So what aren't we giving away because we're too scared? We're too scared of we can't, because people got to pay for that. No, I'd rather pay for ads. But got to be generous.
Yeah, I think that's just so important. I was having a conversation, right? Like we aim to help, all our languaging, who we are is aimed for Christian business leaders, right? And then I was sitting down and I was saying, we just literally asked that question. You were with us. Mm-hmm. We said, what's the work that you can do that's impactful and differentiated with a team that you respect for clients you love? That was the question we asked with our leadership team. And then we got to the third question of who are the clients we love? Now, instead of just saying what we thought we said, we literally just sat down and go, okay, I'm just going to personify that and visually think about who the clients we love. Here's the thing. We worked out pretty quickly that the clients we love didn't necessarily have faith. At 100X, we coach some people that have got faith and we coach some people without faith. We worked out the clients we loved were the ones that had a generous, faith-filled view of the world. Now, what I mean by faith-filled, I'm not talking they have our Christian faith, but they believe in a hope for the future. And so often I see Christians, we believe that preservation is stewardship. We believe that protection is good stewardship, where if you look at the parable of the talents, it is the ones that take a risk at once and get a return that God says, well done, good and faithful servant. And so I think you've given some examples here of people that don't have a Christian faith to live in this timeless biblical principle of grace to all if you live generously. Give it away. And the passage of scripture, generosity begets generosity. If you're generous to someone, they can't help but be generous back to you. It's a natural relationship. And so that's something that I see people stumble on, even as they digest this information. They could be going, all right, what can I get away with? What tidbit can I grab and hold? And what technique? And I kind of get this. It's like, it's who before what and how. And so even if I think about our relationship, I go, it's not as much as the what and how, it's who you are. And that orbit of generosity, that's why I love, when we all get together with the rest of the crew, it's like, we're talking about faith, we're talking about making an impact, we're talking about what can we kind of stretch out. So what would you be saying to someone, and I'll probably preface one thing. Now, I have my one-liners. Come on, you know that. But one of my one-liners is sales is king. It's not Queen, Jack, and Ace, but sales is king. And if I look at most businesses, operations is king. Keeping things steady as she goes is king. And the investment in keeping things going is far greater than the investment in terms of tactically growing. So what would you say to kind of encourage people, if it's true that we've got to be generous and we've got to be systematic, what would you be saying to people listening now in terms of what helps you live generously and how do you systematize that? Yeah, and I think even using that example with Janine and the franchise she gave away one and got 10 back.
Mm-hmm.
There was a system to that. It wasn't just like, hey guys. And, you know, they put a system, they measured the funnel. So can you talk a bit about the system and the attitude to make this work?
Yeah. I just want to re-emphasize that the who is so important, because I even think it's even unbiblical. I even put myself on a limb here to suggest that, when God even just said, listen, he could have said, I've got it all, guys, I don't need yous. But he wants to partner with so many people. He talks to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah says to him and Moses, I had the same objection, I'm too young, or I can't talk, choose someone else. But he always partners with other people to be able to go, you're going to do far more works and greater works than I am. But he could have just said, I'm cool. I'm a solo person. I think this whole thing of self-made, you got to do it by yourself, is actually a lie. And that's going to be stunting your growth, because your knowledge and your energy is capped and it's tethered to your business growth. So I think the really big thing is this. It's really simple, but like a rudder in the ship, if you just get a slide off course, you're going to end up completely different trajectory if you were over here down the line of 5 years. One thing is people focus on the wrong thing, and the focus is usually on themselves and what their sales are, and they're getting secure, and not on the customer. So it's got to be customer led. So when you're doing generous gifts, it can't be just a gift that suits you. It's got to be a gift that is really in tune with your customer. So like, there are so many examples of this where it could be a yogurt shop, and they got to like, okay, who's our best spenders, or who's the referrer of them? They bring families in. Families are the best purchasers. So every Monday after school, we're going to give away free yogurts from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And that's a cost at the start. But the amount of people that come back on weekends from that one Monday is that. So, but it's all about keeping the customer in mind. Like, who is it? Mary? Is it Steve? Who's got the lifetime value? Like, who's got the greatest lifetime value in my business, and trying to attract more of them. The system around this is called a product ecosystem. So businesses don't profit just from one product. Like McDonald's doesn't just profit from a burger. There's always, would you like a fries with that? Right? And you're going to be thirsty with that. You'll need a drink too. So there's a package. What creates demand in a business is generosity and gifts. So what I recommend as a system is intentionally creating and trialing, and the big word here is trial, because it's trial and error. What is something that's very generous, either through IP, so if you're a service-based business, what's something that you might say in a private chat that you repeat yourself over and over again, that is a solution to a massive problem. So it could be, if you're a plumber, here are the 4 ways that you need to be able to fix your tap, your leaking, blah, 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 before you call us. Check. They might be able to fix it, they might not. But that you establish yourself as someone who's generous and the authority for anything in that area. So even if they fix their tap and their friends like, oh man, I've got issues with the plumbing, oh, go to All Mate. They'll think of you. So it's always locked in that, what do you find yourself repeating over and over again to clients all the time? And give it away. It can be in a PDF, it can be a video, it can be like a service as well. Here, we'll do a free trial, or we'll do a free service, blah, 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 if you're a new customer. That creates demand. Then from there, you get their data, you get their information, and there has to be nurturing along the way. So that can be either through digital or calling, usually automated. Automation is the new thing. Okay, it's not a new thing, but it's really what I know my clients are investing massively in the moment with AI and automation together. Is like, how can we personalize with our messaging this streamline of, okay, if she signs up here, then they get triggered off with a couple of other messages here, and then there's an offer within the people who have signed up for the free stuff. That's the ecosystem. So they might have come for the free thing, and you've been generous, and you've got their love, and then over time you can give them opportunities to be able to work with you ongoing. So it might be free, then it'll be like a $20 offer, then eventually down the line they've signed up to the biggest package ever, and they're like married to you. And I think that's where we've got to be thinking about that. The tools and tactics are different for every business, because the service-based and e-com are different. But that's essentially the idea, is gifts. So that's a freebie, and then it gets them into the ecosystem where you can keep talking to them. And then you've got your product offerings, which is, you have your core offering, and then you have would you like fries with that? So you're selling to that. So like Yeah, like the pricing. And then the last thing is premium. So do you have like the options that we talked about off screen? Like when you go sign up for a plan, Pete, there's always a cheaper option, middle option, and a larger option. Even in wine stores, they strategically have that pricing method of expensive wine, cheaper wine, and mid-range wine, and it helps. They can predict which wine gets picked up the most based on putting the expensive wine next to this one. So I mean, we could talk about that a little bit about how.
Yeah, I think as well there's point to say there's a system and a strategy to that, because you just said like you might give away a PDF. Now, from that one PDF, you might get people coming to you, but that's people in the buy now stage. That's actually a very small part of the group. Most of the people are in the buy later stage, and they need to build a relationship up with you before they can trust you. And so I think sometimes people approach this and I was generous and I got nothing, but this generosity is a kind of a way of living. And this is why you've got to build a strategy and a system. And I often kind of chat to people I coach. It's like, well, I gave that a go. I gave this branding and digital thing a go for a good 3 months. And I'm like, and what were you expecting from that? Were you expecting this flood of customers and things like that? And I go, you know what? A lot of people do believe that's going to happen because some of the stuff you see on social media, I'm just telling you, it's tripe. And if it's not tripe, it's the one customer in 1,000 that got that result. You know what I mean? And if it was that easy, everyone was doing it. And so you've got to put that into a strategic line item over the year, just like you put a strategic line item for operations or building something as well. So just on that option, that piece we we're just talking about options. So the principle is people reject change happening to them, but embrace change happening with them. If we go back to the original story of I'm going to go out, I'm going to get 3 quotes. As humans, we like options and we feel like we've got the best option when we've got 3. Let's pretend, if you look at mobile phone plans, if you were to go on the website now, if you hit any telco website right now on their mobile phone plans, they'll typically have 3 options. A really low option, where it's just looking at the total budget conscious, the value's not really there. And then they're going to do a middle option where you pay only $10 extra, but it doubles your data. And they're going to have a premium option that you pay maybe $20 extra and you won't get double the data, right? So they'll have this option that's really for the cheap. You're going to look like the value is in the middle. And there's going to be some people where money's no object and they're happy to pay a premium for the premium. And so what that does, it makes that one carrier look like it's got a good value option and option 2. If it didn't do that, if it just had the most competitive option out there and it was only one option, what you're going to do is you're going to look at that one option and then you're going to get another option for your competitor and another option from your competitor. So it's the notion of when you put it out there, have a good, better, best model, to give your clients some peace there. So Matt, what would you be saying to advise someone? We're talking about kind of building a strategy. There's this notion of being patient, but also when you run your campaigns, they're not doing the same thing over and over again. It might be, attracting first, building trust and nurturing before we convert, right? And so you talked about attract, nurture. We've got a model. We teach at 100x. Attract. If you can't attract, you're unknown. If you can attract, you've got an audience. Then you've got to convert them. If you can't convert them, you've just got a contact. But if you can convert them, you've got a client. Then you've got to be able to deliver. If you can't deliver, your client's frustrated. If you can deliver, they're going to get results. And we can keep going through those other pieces, right? But there's different elements in the life cycle of the customers you look after and the customers you attract. What does it look like to build a strategy around sales and marketing? And what would you be saying? How would you help people kind of get with this? Because I think people look at these things too tactical.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A rule of thumb, I like to think most businesses could run from a 4-cycle campaign a year. So there's an overarching big annual idea of the year. So financial year could be, for us as an agency, would be around personal branding will unlock the floodgates for growth in your business. That's like that's the big thing for the 12 months for us. And then, okay, now that's the big idea, and that's the type of client we want, and that's where the market is. At the front end, what's going to create demand is the gift, to attract new people in, to be able to have that conversation. And then the 4 campaigns is to go over the 4 seasons of the year to be able to put some advertising behind it, or ask our current clients for, get this right, ask them to review, ask them to do we have a referral program in our company? I have a referral company with our client, a referral plan within our current client list. So a classic example, 2 months ago, we have this beautiful female founder who I reached out to. She's been a client of ours for a few years. I said, hey, listen, because our quota is coming up, if you introduce a friend or in your networks and they sign up, I'll knock off 20% off your retainer for next month. And I'll knock off 5% or 10% if they sign on. And she dropped the most beautiful personal video to her female business network. And we had like 10 inquiries and really good candidates for the slots we needed. We only needed 2 for that quota. And it's because I asked a person who's been with us that I would love multiple versions of. I'd take 5 of this. She's amazing. So I think the cycles is 4 campaigns a year, which fills the buckets of your quota, your sales quotas every year. So that could be quarterly. So I use my digital marketing team. So I'd think about what Pete said. Who is best to be able to execute these KPIs for these 3 months? What's our key message? What's our offer? What's our gift for every 3 months? And that intent in turn helps you fill up the sale pipeline, and there isn't like dry runs. Because every season, so if we're in silly season right now, some people leading up to December, whoever's watching this at whatever time we're heading up to December, some people are running a double down, so they're doubling down to take that break at Christmas. Or some people are about to ramp up because throughout Christmas and holidays, that's when they boom. So we've got to think about how does that fit within your business. 4 cycles a year, 4 campaigns a year, one overarching idea to be able to push as an overall key message.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about, a concept I talk about. If you want to be successful, it's really easy. Just look at what everyone else is doing and do the opposite, right? Because if you just do what everyone else is doing, you're going to be average. And so you look at things now, the economy, we're hitting some tough times, interest rates are going up. The average person is pulling back on ad spend. Okay, the average person is trying to bunker down because when things are uncertain, you draw in. But actually, the best time to actually market and advertise is when things are going bad. We shared a story. I previously founded and grew and exited a tech company. I can look back and go, one of the key times of growth was the GFC. Like they were talking about, this is a once in a lifetime catastrophic event, mate. Everything was dropping. What did we do? We actually got with our sales and marketing team that we were working with. We got with the team. We doubled. Okay, you need to understand this is scary. We doubled our spend on sales and marketing. Why? Because no one was calling. And the other thing is, an expensive IBM was a cheap business that we ran, right? And so we kind of targeted that. So kind of now's a good time, isn't it, right? Because people are uncertain. People are looking for other options. Right? When you're uncertain, when everything's good, you're like, I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the narrow path when people start paying attention. What are some good reflection questions that a business leader could be thinking about when it comes to sales and marketing? What's the sort of thing that can help them work out where they are in the journey, and what they should be thinking about?
Questions I ask people to audit, it's auditing questions really. It's like, who's my highest paying? I mean, this is business coaching. You do this all the time. It's like, okay, if you look at all your revenue for the year, who are the highest paying customers? What's the lifetime value of those customers? All right, and a lot of people don't know the answer to that, which is scary, because one of the main reasons why I ask that question straight up is that, wouldn't you like more of them? And the next second question is, do you know what key event or ad or person or method that triggered them to be able to sign with you? what things did they go through to be able to get them to become this amazing client. For me, for an example, I did this exercise and I realized there are 3 main posts on social media that attract celebrities. After asking and reviewing and talking to people who've signed up to us, I'm like, what was it? What was the ad that you saw? Or was it a testimony you saw? Or was it a conversation you had? Was it around most of the time it was around June, and I saw this thing on relevance versus credibility on social media, and it really spoke to me, and it's been repeatable. So that obviously is then going to be a tool that I use to be able to put more amplification behind, to be attract more and more of that client that I want more of. So it's really looking at what's working so far and reverse engineering once you've got that to be able to see if we can increase our chances to get more of them.
Yeah. The notion of a low-cost probe, don't bet it all on black, right? And so what is one thing that you could be doing that you could trial? That's the piece, right? We gave that a go. You got some feedback, right? We threw it a spade at it. Now we're going to throw a wheelbarrow at it. Far out, now we're throwing the tip truck at it, which is really cool. So that notion of who is the client that you love and how can you get more of them, and how did that one client find more of you so you can continue to kind of attract more of that client in the future, which is super cool. Now, as we close off, Matt, you've got one of these things, and we're just going to demonstrate how this works. Matt actually has a free ebook to give. So tell us about the ebook, and this is an example of generosity in terms of giving.
Yeah, so I've had multiple videos go viral for clients on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and one of the key things that keeps people's attention is a hook. It's the hook at the start. If you don't get the hooks right at the start, like it's like the headline of a article on the Fin Review, like so-and-so is going to liquidation. That's a hook. It's a headline. And it keeps you wanting to go down and explore the whole body of it. You could have the best video or the best message, but if no one actually gets past the hook, it's going to be invisible. So what I've done, I've compiled 74 of the best viral hook templates where you can put in your business or your pain point, like fill the gap. And it will help your videos go better or just help you become a better writer. So that's free. It took us, this is all trialed and tested, so it should really improve the reach and also the retention. That's the really thing. Attention and retention is king at the moment. It's oil. That's what Amazon wants, that's what Netflix wants, is your 24 hours of your time. That's why it keeps rolling into the next. We're all guilty of it at some point. You watch one episode of a series and just keeps rolling to the next. And, I spent 7 years watching this now.
It's so funny.
Attention is oil, and they'll sell it.
Yeah.
But enjoy it. It'll be fun for you.
Love that. Now, that's just an example of Matt being so generous. Even though Matt's company is with us, I'm so excited to have a look at that. So if you want a copy of that, go to the ws.100x.ly, click on Contact Us and write in the word Matt, and we'll send you a copy of that workbook, which is amazing. So, Matt, thank you so much for this time. I love it. As we close out, I'm just going to pray a prayer of blessing on everyone on this that's looking at this video now, and I just pray that you'd receive it. So, Lord, I just want to thank you for this time. I want to thank you for my good friend and brother, Matt. I just thank you, Father, Lord, that you've placed him on this planet to whisper in the ears of kings and queens, and that he's been such a positive influence to the people that he works with. Also, Father, for the desire that you've put on him on youth and the charity, just that giving work that he does through Social Kung Fu, just helping school kids with verbal self-defense. I just want to pray your blessing upon that, and that so many lives have been changed through that. For everyone listening right now, I'm praying, Father, that we wouldn't hear these words and be tickled by it. I just pray, Lord, if there was something that inspired or sparked in us, that you would show everyone on this call the right next step. And the biblical passage is this: be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous, be strong and very courageous. I will give you every land that you set your foot upon. So I'm praying in Jesus' name that you show everyone now their right next step, understanding that God will not give you the land that you tap dance on or work in circles around. Give people a conviction of step, whatever that may be, in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, guys, if you found this helpful, that is fantastic. Just feel free to share this with people. If you want a copy of the workbook, just sign up to the resources at Business Connect. If you're listening to this and you're not part of a local church and you want to understand a little bit more, just find your nearest Bible-believing church and start joining. I'm sure you'll find some good people. And guess what? If you don't, find another church. So I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you around for Business Connect and the next episode. So ciao, ciao.